Welcome back to episode 2 of the Pavia podcast with me, Pavia Ross. You can find me at Pavia Ross on Twitter, and make sure to follow our 2 official Pavia accounts at PaviaComs and at Pavia_IO. Before I get into today's episode, I just want to thank everyone because the response to the first podcast was absolutely incredible. Keep your comments coming, keep liking, subscribing, all that good stuff, and let's get into today's episode. Boom, episode 2, you are here with me, Pavia Ross, and I am joined today with Lee. Lee, how you doing?
Really well, excited to be here, thank you. How are you?
Awesome, I'm doing well.
Good.
For those of you that don't know, Lee was the communications manager before this, and you stepped into a new role, haven't you? What's your new role about?
Yeah, so my new role is business development and strategic partnerships. It seemed like the natural progression, going from the community foundation side of things, building up the community. We noticed we had a lot of traction and a lot of involvement from a lot of projects for one. We had a lot of people, businesses that come forth. So it seemed like we needed to fulfill that role. And at the time, I felt like the most appropriate person to, apply.
To step into it.
So yeah,
that's
really
crazy.
exciting.
And it's been a busy 2 weeks for you because, as you know, I've now stepped into Lee's role. So Lee's had to not only step into a new role, but spend 2 weeks with me, getting me updated onto everything. So it's been busy for you.
Yeah, it's been extremely busy 2, maybe 3 weeks. The handover was nice because we finished the third land sale, which, as you know, was extremely busy. And then the community, naturally, it slows down in the chat. So it gave me a little bit of time to do a handover with you, just explaining the process and then moving into my new role, which has been nice. It's exciting.
It's big, yeah.
It's really big. It's a real big deal. It's trying to make sure we get the right partners on board, and just seeing how that works and benefits for both of us, basically.
That's awesome. So I've been really excited to do this podcast for one reason, and that's because when I was doing the podcast with Paul's obviously my boss, and he's got a lot of leverage over me. Lee doesn't. So I guess my first question is, do you think you could have me in a fight?
Probably not.
I'm joking. You used to be the community manager.
Yes.
What was it like?
Yeah, being a community manager, it's been a real good time. It's been an amazing experience for me. For me, stepping into this role, I was as new to Pavia as most of these guys. In fact, some of these have been here longer than I had. So stepping into that role has been interesting, and watching how it's evolved, not just with the community members, also with people like the mods. And it's even the slow transition going from being all community-based to the integration of seeing people with their ideas coming forward and want to implement their ideas into Pavia, etc. So yeah, it's been an amazing experience.
Absolutely. And you touched briefly on the mods. They make your job a hell of a lot easier, don't they?
They literally have been like the backbone. They have been insane. What I love is the fact they just dedicate so much of their own time into Pavia, and it's really nice to be here for that reason, to be honest.
Absolutely.
It's nice to actually be able to, on camera, say thank you so much, because your hard work has not gone unnoticed. Like it's been a mad ride.
We love you, mods. We love you.
We genuinely love you guys. Thank you so much. You've saved me hours, days.
But so the project has obviously gotten to a stage now where it's growing really quickly, and this role wasn't a role, and now we've got so big that it's become a role.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I sort of, we had a sit down prior to me really starting the role as the community manager. And there was always scope, and there was always that angle. We were always going to look to evolve my position into where I am now, basically. But we didn't realise what that time frame looked like.
Yeah.
I mean, looking at the forecasts and the roadmaps, this wouldn't have happened if it wasn't down to the community wanting us to have the land sales brought forward.
Agreed, yeah.
So, yeah, it was a bit daunting, but I was excited, really excited.
The community plays a huge part in this project. And just we've seen from both doing this role that the ideas that the community puts forward are just absolutely incredible. Yeah. And, we go through a lot of the pips, we go through the, suggestions on Discord and Twitter and everything like that. And they come up with some amazing ideas, don't they? And I want to touch briefly on the PCA group, the Pavia Compatible Assets group. Some of the things you see in there are, well, tell me about it.
Yeah, when we started the PCA group, I wasn't really sure how much traction it would get, and it was suggested by many people. When we set it up, it was actually overwhelming. The amount of projects, and not necessarily projects, just community members that had either a basic understanding or an experience level.
Yeah.
But I mean, again, full credit. We have to thank them. I mean, the PCA working group's been amazing, and some of the content they've produced has just been next level.
It's mad, isn't it?
I mean, I don't know how far you've gone back, but when you see some of the early entry stuff, I mean, it was great. For us, it was amazing. But you see how they've ramped it up over the last, 2 months?
Yeah.
2.5 months?
It's just completely evolving.
Yeah.
And it's mad because like, when you do this project, part of this project is like, we're just building a blank canvas for everyone, and then people are building things on top of that. And some of the stuff that people are building it's just stuff that I would never think of, and that's what I personally love most about this community, is that they're just coming up with like so many different ideas.
I completely agree. For me, I always wanted to get involved with. I was involved with cryptocurrencies since 2015. I knew about other metaverse projects, etc. I loved them, but I just thought there's got to be more.
Yeah.
And getting in when I got in was like the perfect timing. And what I found is I sit here sometimes and I feel like I've been here for years.
Yeah.
And I think, well, I only started in October. But then when you actually break it down, it's what's been achieved since October.
Such a small,
you realise this entire space, it evolves so quickly.
Yeah, it does.
And I think it's the evolution of this is really fascinates me, because the PCA working groups are probably the easiest way to realise from the earlier foundational stuff we've done in October, November, December time till now.
Yeah.
You just see it's like watching the original computer to what we're using in today's standard, or the original phone. It's just evolved in such a short period of time.
So where there's so much to do, people think, okay, it's still a year down the line or whatever, but then at the same time, it's like it's moving so quickly. That space is going to go so rapidly, and I think no one really understands like just how incredible this project can be.
The project's amazing. I obviously bought into it from day one. Like I say, I was aware of the space. I've been in it for a while, but I knew what this could be. And I think we need to remember this company, Pavia Corp, have only been around for no time at all. And we need to remember this is not a short project. It is a long project. And I think sometimes, because people are in and out of Discord all day, every day, it sort of takes over to some degree. And I think we all need to remember, me included, it's not a short project. We've got time, and we're constantly evolving behind the scenes.
Talk to me a little bit about when the land sales were going on, because that was quite a crazy time, wasn't it? Tell me a little bit about the numbers and how quickly everything sold out.
Yeah, so the first land sale sold out in 3 days, which is quite incredible. The second land sale was a F5 refresh, sold out. See you later. Absolutely crazy. We'll all be aware, it resulted in $7 million worth of refunds.
Wow.
Yeah, so, we we felt that the best solution was to do the third land sale a little bit different. So we listened to the community. We took all of their positive feedback on board, and the last land sale, exactly the same. I think it was 13 times the amount of land sold against the interest. It was absolutely crazy.
Wow.
It was just a nice, simple process.
Yeah.
The whitelist side of things was incredible, but I think it was just an instant success.
So from the first one to the last one, not only did the sales, quicken, you're going from 3 days to literally we're talking 20 minutes, but you've got so much land that people want that you're sending out $7 million worth of refunds. That is absolutely mad, and that just kind of shows the traction behind the project and how much people wanted the land.
Yeah, there's two things there. It is supply and demand, and I feel like being the community manager, I could really see how much demand there was against the supply, but you never truly know until you're going through.
That's true.
The process. And the whitelist side of things, I think, was just a nice, easier transition for people to, rather than everyone just hammering away at their keyboards just trying to get involved, it was a nice, easy process. So everyone just submitted their details. They got a congratulation, you're eligible for X, Y, Z amount of land parcels. And I think the whole process was made so much easier.
So it's become more smoother and more smoother, and since the first one.
Yeah, absolutely, a lot easier.
So land's completely sold out. The space is forever evolving. The numbers as well. Like Twitter. Talk to me about Twitter. How many followers do we have now?
So Twitter, I believe we got 67,000 Twitter's followers.
Discord?
And Discord, I believe we're at 63. I believe we're at 63,400. 63,400 on Discord. So yeah, and it's a real active community. I mean, we look through the stats occasionally, and the numbers just grow. It's getting more traction and more followers. Yeah, it's exciting, really exciting.
So now that you've moved on from the community manager role into partnerships, I know that you're still going to be spending some time looking over the community. Is there anything that you want to say to them as you move on?
Yeah, I mean, we've touched base with the mods, and we've also discussed the 3D, working group. But as a whole, it's the whole community, because the mods and the 3D working group, they're all part of the general community.
Indeed.
And I've grown to, have some real good friendships through being the Discord manager.
Yeah.
And yeah, I want to honestly say a massive thank you to absolutely everyone. It's there's people out there that have mod status. There's people out there that don't, but probably should be if we had the space or the allocation for them to fill that role. And yeah, I think as an overall, it's been such a positive experience, and I wanted to thank each and every single one of you because my job has been made so much easier having you guys there. Going through this emotional roller coaster with me, I guess. So yeah, a massive thank you, guys. Thank you.
Yeah, amazing. Cool.
Yeah.
Well, that's all we got for today. We are going to end on the Pavia 10 quick questions for you, Lee. Are you ready for it?
I'm ready.
All right. Red or blue?
Blue.
Pesto, love or hate?
Love.
Favourite type of clown?
That one.
Your ex sends you £500 and it goes into your bank account. What do you do?
Buy a cat.
Most common thing in your fridge?
Cheese.
Favourite sport?
Snooker.
How would you make a spice rack for the blind?
With difficulty.
Scale of 1 to 10, how weird are you?
Probably between 9 and 10.
If you're a bicycle, what part would...
Probably the chain.
And what is one thing that you want to see built in the Metaverse? You were so quick at all the others.
I know. Something elevated. Something elevated. So it's not a structure mounted to the ground. So if anyone out there wants to help me, please.
Yes. Lee, thank you so much for joining me today. It has been Pavia Ross on the Pavia Podcast episode 2. If you like what you see, please remember to like, retweet, all that good stuff. And you can follow us at Pavia_IO and at Pavia Comes on Twitter. And we'll see you next time.